Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the In Michigan podcast. I am your host, Ryan Redoute, aka That Michigan Guy on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and we're here today with my very good friend and YouTube powerhouse, Latasha James.
Hello,
Yes.
Hello, Michigan, should I say?
Yes. So I wanted to bring Latasha on because she has experience kind of growing up in the lower peninsula of Michigan while also visiting frequently the upper peninsula as well. So we're going to talk about all things Kalamazoo, UP, being kind of a Youper at heart. I feel a little bit too.
I was born a Youper.
Yeah, you're born a
there.
Youper. So all that and more coming up. You know, when we have a guest, I like just kind of diving right into the nitty gritty, the nougaty center of the conversation. So with that being said, what was it like kind of being born in the UP, being a Youper? Let's first talk about the UP experience because I'm actually really curious about that.
Yeah, I mean, I was born in Marquette, Michigan.
Way up there.
Way up there. The true UP, the biggest city in the UP, which I just looked it up recently, and I think there's only like 20,000 people in there.
So it's the biggest
Marquette.
city in the UP, but has 28,000 people.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So pretty small. I only lived there until I was 2. My dad was in the Air Force. There used to be an Air Force base up there. That's how he got up there.
Curious as to how you even got up there in the first place too. Right.
He was from Baltimore. My mom grew up in the UP though, with 6 siblings. So big family, like Youper genes, Youper legacy. But she always wanted to move there's a lot more opportunity downstate, and especially like with me being biracial, it just wasn't super diverse up there. So we moved when I was 2, but my family lived, and I still have family up there.
I was gonna say you still have family up there.
Yeah, and so my sister and I would go up, all my family, but particularly my sister and I would go up like almost every summer and spend at least a few weeks up there with my grandma and grandpa. And like I said, my mom has 6 siblings, so most of them lived up in the UP too.
Lots of family to visit.
Yeah.
And then she ended up making her way down to Kalamazoo area. That's where your parents kind of decided on. Do you know why they kind of picked that area?
Yeah, so my dad actually picked it for us.
Oh, interesting.
So he, like I said, he was from the Baltimore area, so he was very much used to like a city and, lots of just totally different world.
Yeah.
And he was in the Air Force, and then he wanted to go to school. So he went to school to become like an EMT, kind of in the medical field. And it was his dream to go to Western, which is where my alma mater. So I feel like I did him well by, living out his dream. Yeah, but that was always his dream to go to Western.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he actually never ended up going to Western. But yeah, that was one of the reasons that he wanted to live there. And also, like I said, he just kind of knew that it was a good sized city. Kalamazoo is around 75K. So it's small. It doesn't feel dangerous and scary, but it's very diverse. Like culturally, that was something that, like I said, was really important to both my parents for raising us, and just reflected our family a little bit more.
Yeah. No, I get that 100%. I didn't know that your dad wanted to go to Western too. That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's like, oh, that's just an adorable story. If somebody was going to Kalamazoo for like a weekend, what would you suggest they do? Should they split it up between Kalamazoo and maybe another city close by and go a little further, like to Grand Rapids?
Yeah.
Or is there can Kalamazoo kind of have enough in itself?
Yeah. I mean, I think it depends on your vibe. Like Kalamazoo, Kalamazoo and Grand Rapids are different in that Grand Rapids definitely feels like, there's like this downtown square, and like
it's definitely a bigger city.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think there's like 200K in Grand Rapids, so it's quite a bit bigger. So if that's what you're looking for, do that. But if you are like chill, you want to go check out some art, eat some good like farm to table food, maybe listen to some music, maybe go to a brewery, there's a lot to do in Kalamazoo on its own. There's also a lot of beautiful nature. That's one of my favorite things to do whenever I go home. I go to this reserve called El Sabo. There's another
El
one
Sabo?
called, yeah.
S-A-B-O?
Yep.
Okay, just for anyone looking it up. Yeah.
It's my favorite place.
It's E-L Sabo?
A-L.
A-L Sabo. Okay.
Yeah, like El Sabo. There's another one, Kleinstock. Like, there's a lot of really nice hiking trails and stuff like that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, a lot of nice coffee. So, I mean, for my vibe of just kind of like chill, go to maybe my favorite bookstore in Kalamazoo, which is called This Is a Bookstore. Shout out to them. I mean, you can pack a weekend for sure.
Yeah.
If you want to have a little bit more action, or like maybe if you have kids and, they need a little more entertainment or whatever, I say do the beach towns in Kalamazoo. So growing up, my second hometown, I would say, was South Haven.
Yeah.
Because, that's where in high school, as soon as we got cars, every single weekend that it was nice out, it's 40 minutes to Lake Michigan.
You just reminded me that my friend Steph, because she had friends that went to Western, she went to, I'm trying to remember, but she said that she would always come up to that area.
Yep.
And so after college, after classes, they would always go to South Haven.
Yes, it's the place to go. So yeah, I would say, you could do like Saturday, do the beach, do South Haven Day, Sunday, go to Kalamazoo, get some nice breakfast, go to the bookstore, hang out. Like, I think that's the way to do it.
I like that vibe. South Haven too, because I just went there for the first time last summer, is the one with the famous red lighthouse.
Yeah.
That if you've seen a red lighthouse or just a lighthouse in any Michigan photography, it is this one.
Yeah.
Like, to me, like, it is quintessential. After someone who's made Michigan content for so long, I can't tell you how many times that has come across photos, videos, anything really.
Yeah. South Haven's it's a really cute town.
Would you say that Kalamazoo almost has like a cool hipstery vibe based on what you're saying? Like, for people's definition of what they kind of expect hipster means.
Okay, so if I had to describe Kalamazoo, it gives like my where I live now is Ann Arbor-ish.
Yeah.
It gives Ann Arbor, but like way less money.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit
more relaxed.
Yeah, a little bit more relaxed, a little more blue collar. Like, I like it in that it is very diverse in all ways, and that there are like very hippie people, but then there are also just like truck drivers and like just like your normal like blue collar people, and I love that. Like, it's a very humble town. It's kind of simple, but yeah, it does have this very quirky and very progressive slant to it. And it's very welcoming, and it's a special place.
I like the word humble town. You're always very good with just new adjectives that like are associated with things, and I feel like that's nice, kind of like branding for it too, of like a fun, humble town where you can even have a little bit of beach really activity with it too.
Yeah.
So going up to the UP, when you would spend your summers there, were you going back to Marquette all the way up, or were you kind of checking out other areas that other family might be into?
Yeah, pretty much all my family lived in Marquette. My grandparents, though, actually lived in a very small town, maybe 40 minutes away from Marquette, called Big Bay.
Big Bay.
Yeah, literally Big Bay. There was a movie about something that happened. I'll have to send you the name of it.
Yes, please
At this
do.
like random bar in Big Bay. It was like a murder.
That got famous from this movie kind of scene or something?
Yeah, but there's literally like 300 people in Big Bay. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe it's like 1,000, but I mean, it is
300
small.
to 1,000 for city size.
Same.
Really isn't too much of an
Yeah, it's
exaggeration.
nobody's there. I mean, shout out if you are.
Shout out Big Bay. People
Big
do, for everyone who's ever seen me on my TikTok lives, the Michigan TikTok forum, I do sometimes get just people calling in from like the really small cities across Michigan, and they'll say it, and I'm like, I've never heard of that. And there's always one city I've never heard of, and that sounds like one of the cities that
Big
like
Bay.
Somebody would be like, I'm from, shout out from Big Bay, you know, or
I
something
love
like that too.
I love it.
We love our Michigan small towns.
But yeah, so we'd go up there, and they had a big, a large amount of property, and they actually had a seed company, which is very interesting.
For like flowers, like just like growing.
Yeah, just like native. It was called Borealis, and so it was all native Michigan seeds.
Oh, cute.
So they would go out into the woods and pick the plants, the seeds, whatever, bring them back, and then like sell them to like the DNR and other government organizations and individuals and stuff. So that was their little like post-retirement kind of business.
Yeah.
And so that's what my sister and I spent most of our summers doing, is sitting at the kitchen table, listening to music. My grandpa was a musician as well. He loved music. And we would just sit at the kitchen table, picking seeds apart, cleaning them, getting them ready to be sold.
How nature-filled, really. I mean, like, because for anyone who hasn't been to the UP, to me, it feels like just untouched world.
Yeah.
Where like you walk through the forest and you're just like, you can tell people have not treaded here very often.
Yeah.
And that it feels very pure still.
Yeah.
You getting to have that vibe plus literally seed like cleaning, like seed sowing, something. I feel like, I mean, you've always been I think you and I are similar in that we're like 50-50 city nature.
Yeah.
Would you say that really like one, you have a music interest. I can't help but think that was probably huge for you to
For
like
sure.
be like having this super nature time with music and your family.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that those summers really like formed a piece of you and
Oh,
kind of what
absolutely.
keeps it with you, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And in the UP in general, they tend to be very big on conservation, which I really love. I mean, sometimes they can be, I don't know, sometimes it can have the stereotype, I guess, of being a little bit like old school
Yeah.
and like, not necessarily being a little like Luddite, like not wanting to adapt with the times. But I actually love it. I think it comes from this approach to conservation and like wanting to keep that
Right.
beautiful land untouched. And so, yeah, that was definitely instilled in me. And then, yeah, the music thing, it's like, that's just like small town stuff, you know? I mean,
True.
what do you do? What do you do in Big Bay?
Right.
I mean, you
That's the name of the episode. What do you do in Big Bay?
make a flute or a fiddle like my grandpa did. Or
Yeah.
one of my favorite photos of him, I can share it with you if you want. He
Yeah, I'd love it.
made a bass out of a silver garbage can, a trash can. He made a standing bass, and
Yeah.
like we would just play music in the garage. So,
It's cute.
what do you do in Big Bay?
Yeah, what do you do
Clean
in
seeds
Big
and play
Bay?
music.
We'll get on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Big Bay?
Yeah.
Oh, I just hit my mic. Big Bay.
Right.
That's beautiful. No, I feel like I agree with like when you go to the UP, like even like the speed limit is like max 45 for the most of the time you're driving around, I believe.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that, but it's like you're not going like 70 like you are in the rest of the state
Yeah.
and just like blowing through. Like you kind of have to sit and enjoy the ride
Yeah.
almost a little bit.
For sure.
And yeah, like for certain things, like I say stay. Like stay the way, keep it humble,
Yeah,
keep it cute,
for sure.
and let nature thrive, because I feel like as the world, I mean, Michigan alone with the fresh water situation, I think we have 25% of the fresh water in the world
Wow.
is our Great Lakes.
Yeah,
So on top of that, we have this beautiful nature preserve
Yeah.
that is the UP.
for sure.
It's nice to know
Yeah.
that that there are family members of yours kind of like up there trying to,
Yeah.
kind of keep it clean, keep it
Yeah,
pure.
for sure. All my aunts and uncles, like for the most part. I mean, I had an aunt who passed away, but she was a park ranger. Like, so yeah, and her daughter, my cousin, is like studying birds, being amazing. Like, so that culture definitely
my
passes
gosh.
through. One of my
Yes.
other aunts also worked in conservation, so yeah, it's definitely like part of the culture.
And even
for
you
sure.
as someone who like went away but still visited, I feel like you still have that
Yeah.
nature.
Spirit.
That spirit, yeah,
Yeah.
I guess with it. Have you been to Tequamanon Falls?
I have not. But
Or,
do you know Sufjan Stevens? Side note.
No.
Okay, well, we got to talk about that later. He's a Michigander, and he has
Wait, is he the Youper guy on TikTok?
no.
No, that's old time hockey.
No, you gotta listen to Michigan, the album by Sufjan Stevens.
Oh.
And he has a song called that.
Okay, well, also reco for everybody else too who's watching.
Check it
I'm
out.
gonna check it out. But is there a song about Tequamanon?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
And Romulus and all kinds of places.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard of it. I
Yeah.
gotta check it out. Well, Tequamanon, and then have you been to like the Pictured Rocks Lakeshore?
I haven't. I have not been anywhere in the UP.
See, that's interesting
Except
though.
for
That's
Marquette.
I'm all the more reason why I'm happy to have you on here, because I
Yeah.
feel like you're offering where I haven't personally gone myself.
Yeah.
UP wise, like I've never been to the Marquette
Yeah.
kind of area.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, for anyone going to the UP, there is Marquette, which if you want to keep driving to, there's even Copper Harbor,
Yeah.
which is where the aurora lights are said to be like very pretty. It's one of the more northern parts of Michigan.
Yes.
But then from there, I don't know if you read up on this at all either, or have been to that area. You can like take a plane from Copper Harbor to Isle Royale.
Okay, I have a good Royale story.
Okay, give me it.
Well, so my grandfather, he was one of the original people. Okay, I don't want to mess this up and make this sound way better, way cooler than it is. But if I'm not mistaken, he is one of the people who like mapped Isle Royale when it was becoming a state park.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I have a cool claim to fame there.
casual.
Yeah. he,
Casual
like,
Michigan cool claim
It was
to
a
fame.
I think he was like in his 20s when he, got this job to go help map it out.
Yeah.
Him, I believe, and his brother did too. And there's also a really good movie about
It's hard, honestly.
Isle Royale.
We don't like to pronounce letters period here in
Yeah.
Michigan, let alone Isle Royale.
Yeah, that. It's called Angelique Abandoned.
and it's just about a movie about Isle Royale.
Yeah.
You're giving us all these media recos with songs and movies that we probably have not heard of. I mean, I haven't heard of these things.
Yeah.
I feel like there is a lot of cute Michigan content out there that probably hasn't made it to. I mean, part of the reason why I'm even making Michigan content myself is to like surface what beauty
Yeah.
Michigan has. So I'm really happy to have you on here
Yeah.
to like share like there's media. There's a song about Michigan that I actually use in a lot of my early TikTok videos.
Yeah.
That people were like, oh my gosh, I cannot get that out of my head now.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the name. I'll try to find it and link it in the description. But it's like Michigan. It's very pretty little like,
Yeah.
and it talks about things. But yeah, Isle Royale is the official most northern part of Michigan,
Yep.
I believe, because it's an island that's like past Copper Harbor.
Yeah.
And you can hike on it.
Yeah.
You can do the, I mean,
can
you can hike the
camp.
trails that literally have
Yeah.
been set forth to us by someone, grandfather in
Keats.
this room. But oh my gosh, that was
Yeah.
man. We went deeper into the UP than I
I
thought we
know.
were gonna.
If you ever want to do an Isle Royale trip, let me know because
that could be our. I was just thinking that me and you have to do another trip.
Yeah.
And I know that you can actually fly up that way.
Yeah, it's
From-
on my bucket list.
Yeah, me
but
too.
It is just kind of like you have to be a little more intentional about it because it's not just like, oh, let's just.
And it's nature heavy.
Yeah.
The people that I know that have gone up there, they said you can camp.
Yeah.
But it's very like you have to have just like the tent, and then you might encounter a lot of wildlife
Yeah.
that like
The wolves.
wolves,
Royale.
things like that,
Which I love.
and that you can do the different hikes, but you can have a center base,
Okay.
or you can really rough it and like be backpacking it,
Yeah.
doing the hikes up that way too.
So leave a comment down below.
Honestly, though, because I mean, the Michigan community in the comment section on anything,
Yeah.
or feel free to shoot me a message if you know more about Isle Royale. I'd love to share it on my stories because I think it is like going to the tippy top.
Yeah.
You probably get a very just different Michigan
Yeah.
than you probably ever experienced before.
For sure.
So I definitely want to give people that reco, and I kind of want to put on my In Michigan site too.
Yeah.
So as a blog post,
Totally.
but. Well, I feel like we really went deep on some
Yeah.
Kalamazoo and UP recos.
Yes.
If anyone doesn't know, Latasha is big YouTuber. She does videos on freelancing and really helping anyone who's starting to freelance figure out a path, maybe digital media wise, into how you can be your own boss and really sustain yourself. Is there anything you want to shout out outside of that besides?
I love Michigan. Listen to Sufjan Stevens. No, seriously. Thanks for what you're doing for the Michigan community, and thanks for having me.
Yes. Well, thanks for coming on. And for everyone listening, feel free to leave a rating on this podcast if you like this episode, or shoot me a message if you can. I just I was saying it and I heard you say 5 stars. If there's things you want us to talk about on the podcast or certain guests you want to have on, feel free to shoot me a message on Instagram. Check out other videos I have about Michigan, of course, on Instagram, TikTok. I'm starting to, like I said, post on threads more of just a little more off-the-cuff things that you can kind of join and be more conversational with. And other than that, I will see you all, Mich, again. Bye!